Hey collective, what is going on? Happy Monday. Happy new week, I should say. Welcome to the channel. I'm Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive, and we're going to be looking at the energy for the next week. I believe we're starting, the 13th? So May 13th to May 19th. We'll be looking at astrology, some tarot, all that fun stuff, seeing how the energy is going to play out for us as a collective. Obviously, they are collective readings, so just take what messages feel right for you. Leave the rest behind. Use that discernment, that intuition to pick up what is yours. I do personal readings as well, just as a heads up. If you want me to look into your specific situation, I would love to support. Definitely hit me up. How to connect with me is in the description box below. And then always just make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let's build and grow our community here. So we'll start off with this energy clearing. Excuse me. This is a good time to set your own intention, especially if you need certain things answered, you want clarity, direction around something that's going on for you. Definitely ask Spirit to bring that to you through this reading. We'll also just set the tone by cleansing out the energy, removing blocks, obstacles, all that fun stuff, right? Get out of the way. Let's go. I bless you with pure love, pure light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for the highest and best. Blocks, obstacles, fear, doubt, uncertainty, lack of worth, lack of value. Release, let it go. From our heart, mind, soul. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love, Mama Love. Happy Mother's Day. If you are a mother, if you celebrated this weekend, it was so nice to be with my son. Just chill, hang out, right? Enjoy. We had one really great day and one really crummy day, but it was a good weekend for sure. So we are in Pluto retrograde right now, and Pluto retrograde isn't the most comfortable. It's retrograding back into Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, and it's all about hard work. It's about putting in the time, energy, effort, commitment towards what you're trying to build and grow, where you're trying to find your happiness and your fulfillment in life. It's been a little bit messy. I mean, I think we're all feeling some of this resistance, this challenge. Obviously, it depends what you are releasing, changing, letting go of in your life will kind of dictate how intensely this is affecting you. Also, where your planetary placements are in your natal chart. So definitely check that out if you're into the astrology. It's super beautiful always, the way it really confirms what's playing out in real time. That's one of the reasons I love it. So what I will say is this week feels good and bad. There's a lot of positive, supportive aspects. There's also just a lot of tension and frustration. It's not the worst thing ever. There's more square transits that are happening, aspects with the planets, and that is not the worst thing ever, but it often has a really annoying undertone to it. So be mindful of that. Some things will be working for you. It feels good, especially the places that you're seeing change. It's inspiring you and you're falling in love with your path that much more, right? It's like when we get a taste of our efforts, the fruits of our labor, it starts helping us feel inspired to continue to push forward. And at the same time, we're starting to release and let go of things that we held on to so closely. We fixated on, obsessed over, wished were different, etc. Venus sextile to Saturn is really giving us the opportunity to say, you know what, this is working for me and I'm loving this and I'm going to keep pursuing it. And the sun is also in conjunction at the beginning of the week with Uranus, which I like because Uranus rules Aquarius, where Pluto is trying to get to. And Aquarian energy is all about being innovative, being eccentric, being your unique and individual self. So the sun is all about how we show up in our lives. So if we're excited about creating or doing something new, kind of going against the grain, not the typical norm, or even just people, places, and things we have in our environment that are being a little curmudgeonly, the naysayers. This is an opportunity to just say, you know what, that's cool, but this does not work for me. I'm going to do something that's a little bit more in alignment with who I am. Nourish the shadow. Oh, I love that. So super beautiful confirmation on that energy of not, that's the beauty of our shadow. Often the shadow gets a bad rap as like low vibe energy or, base instincts, primordial instincts. And all of that is true and needs to be kept in check, just like our spiritual self. We can't necessarily, take this in context. We can't sit around and like meditate all day or bliss out because that's not reality in the practical world. And our shadow often aligns with those deeper desires that we leave hidden, that we leave kind of in the dark, for lack of a better term. This is going to bring a little bit more balance and stability. So nourishing the shadow in the appropriate way is what I'm hearing, right? And this reminds me a lot of Libra energy in the way that we keep in check, we keep in line. Right now, the South Node is in Libra, so there might be some knee-jerk reactions to like overindulge, overcompensate, whatever that is, doing too much, going from one side of the pendulum to the other, extremes. And that's not really benefiting us because we need a solid foundation from which to transform from. Yeah, so Spirit's really asking you to keep it in check. Don't use it for your empowerment. Don't make it a struggle. Don't make it don't have it loop you back into karma lessons you've already been through. This is being able to be quite honest with yourself at the beginning of the week. We have the moon in opposition to Pluto and Mercury square to Pluto. So we're struggling a little bit around how we feel about making these changes and even how it's going to affect our daily living, right? The people, places, and things we come into contact with. There is this part of us that is self-protecting with this Four of Pentacles energy. Spirit's asking you to open yourself up to new opportunities. This can be easier said than done, especially if you're coming from a time where you have felt a lot of backstabbing, betrayal, a need to protect yourself, struggling to really trust people, places, and things and what their intentions are. But Spirit says, I got your back, is what I'm hearing, right? As always, we always have guardian angels, spirit guides. We have a spirit team, crossover loved ones that do have our back on the spiritual plane. We just have to, again, listen to what our instincts are telling us, what our intuition is telling us. We know when too much is too much. We know when we're crossing that line of hurting ourselves or putting ourselves in a situation that's going to be a little bit more difficult than what we want to. And that's what we're coming into at the beginning of this week. Like I was saying, there's some things that are like really helping us, really making us feel good and strong. But these first couple of days, like I said, there's also a lot of heavy underlying tension, things that like maybe we thought we've learned, we thought we overcame, I thought I dealt with that. I don't want to revisit it, right? That type of vibe. And it's still coming up. So as we move towards the middle of the week, I feel it's showing astrologically will get a little bit more support, and it's going to again continue to amplify our inspiration, our excitement around what is unfolding for us. But then we're also still pretty emotional about things. The moon is in Leo, middle of the week. Leo is fire energy. So it's that value of when we don't get what we want, right? When we don't get what we want and we have to find a little bit more humility for ourselves, patience in the process, knowing that, yeah, abundance has so many different forms, right? I've been working with this principle a lot in my own life. Even if there's an obstacle or a situation takes a direction that you're not really anticipating, and it seems bad, right? It seems bad on the surface. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to end that way, that's the end of the road. Abundance has so many forms, and I love the way it's depicted on this card, right? The cones, like, you know, from the smallest, most subtlest point, it expands to the grossest point. So remembering that, even when it feels limiting, even when it feels restrictive, we have to keep our, spiritual sight on the end result, understanding that this just might be a part of the path. It is the beauty of life, I mean, when we really think about it, it's the magic of life, how things intertwined, how they end up evolving and really making us a better version of ourselves and delivering something that's like often more way heart honoring and better for us in the end. And that's where the Scorpio energy is coming into play. Scorpio is governed by Pluto, and we have the Vertex point in Scorpio this week. So Vertex point is all about things coming to head. I look at this point as it's all about what's fated, right? So it's like things, soul lessons we choose to learn with people. It has to play out in a certain way. Not that you're fixed to that energy, but it's about a lesson. It's about walking through the lesson, seeing it for what it is, and being able to really transform that energy. That's what the death card is all about. It's death and rebirth. It's transformation. It is the burning of the phoenix in order to rebirth and rise again, which is incredibly powerful. And there's a lot of abundance that's coming out of this. There's also resistance within ourselves, places we hold on to the past. There's also resistance from our environment, past people, places, and things that aren't really willing to let us go, that want to continue the drama, the chaos is what I'm hearing. And so individually this week, it's really important that we find that grounding and balance that, and I'm hearing this in those places of our spiritual moments with ourselves, whether that's journaling, meditation. Transcendental meditation is dope. Definitely check it out. They actually it's opposite, like the cones are on top of each other, but they use the same analogy as how we unfold into ourselves. It's this belief that we are self-referral. So in order to live our best life, we have to cleanse our consciousness, meaning we have to be so in tune with ourselves that we know what fits and what does not. And I'm seeing this, especially for a lot of us, there is going to be this outside energy that doesn't want this change to happen, that is really resistant. This is King of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, someone who loves the control, someone who loves to play God is what I'm hearing. And maybe even has a little bit of that narcissistic undertone, right? Believes that they're God. And so there is so that's why we're building that strong foundation this week, or hopefully we've been doing that for ourselves already, to keep us stable, to keep us grounded, to keep us focused, so that we're not falling back into those traps, right, that we saw in the very beginning. We're not falling back into these traps of making decisions that don't really honor us or misusing that shadow side, i.e. indulging in things that don't really produce good results. If anything, it makes it take longer. It makes it delayed. I don't know. That didn't come out very fluidly, but that's okay. So, and a lot of this is going to be about how we feel about ourselves or how we judge ourselves. Our ability to know who we are, despite the fact that some people, places, and things are going to want to say otherwise. There's something around this where someone is just like a little difficult. And what I like is there's a lot going on in the beginning of the week. As the week closes out, we're going to feel a little bit more reprieve, meaning it's not going to feel as heavy. It's not going to be as intense. A lot of the work is going to be done Monday through Friday, but basically. So if you look at it in that way, it's just kind of getting through the grunt and the grind and honoring your path one step at a time, being patient with the decisions that you make. We have a lot of earth energy supporting us, earth elements. There's a lot of planets in Taurus right now. So that's giving us a little bit more grounding and stability to not feel all over the map. And if we are feeling all over the map, that's where we take the time to journal, to meditate, do some breathing exercises, really just find a sense of peace and calm for yourself. So you're not letting the bullshit overwhelm in an unnecessary way. Okay, yeah, totally. I love that. So end of the week energy is actions lead towards success. Super powerful way to close off the reading. And there's a bunch of little dragons. I keep hearing that, unleash the dragon, right? So this is that value to not be afraid to step into your power. And the way that we cultivate that power is by having balance, is by exercising willpower over ourselves, right? It's not about stepping into this vibe of trying to control people or situations. It's about controlling ourselves. We can't control others. We can't control how they show up. Most often when we try to tell people we don't like it, they don't even want to listen, right? So it's just, we really have to take things as they are and continue to choose actions that honor our heart, our mind, our soul, and what we're trying to cultivate. Because it goes back to that value that the more we do that, the more the bullshit falls away, the less effect those people have on us. And Spirit's asking you to trust in the process. There's a lot of fear around whether there's going to be successful outcomes, whether you're doing the right or wrong thing. With Pluto in retrograde, we're laying the last foundational piece of what it's going to mean for Pluto to be in Aquarius, to actually take hold of our wishes, our hopes, our fulfillments, our dreams. And depending on how solid we are in ourself is really going to dictate what manifests. This is the time. And anxiety is a real thing. It's very annoying, very annoying. But at the same time, this is where meditation, breathing exercises really help balance that monkey mind. Because I feel with this Nine of Swords energy, the fear is displaced 100%. So you're getting fear, anxiety, sleepless nights coupled with wish fulfillment, Nine of Cups. So Spirit's asking you to trust yourself. We often don't do that enough either, right? And this goes back to, I love it because intuition is in some ways equated with the shadow. It is more of, in terms of the occult or tapping into the mysticism, the magical aspects of life. And so that's that part where it's like, Spirit's asking you again, 3-9, so 999. I love this. This is closing out a cycle. Continue to push forward. The 9 of Wands for me is a warrior card. It is someone who's been through battle, has gone through it, bloodied, beaten, but still has, that last push left, and they're ready to do it. They're ready to stand up and fight. And the way this is depicted on this card and this deck is super powerful. It's like, I am going to rise up. I am going to stand up for who I am and for what I want and what I believe in, and not letting people, places, and things get in the way of that, trying to make us believe that we can't succeed. Yeah, so beautiful. That we can't, we're not worthy of, or we don't deserve, or it's too outlandish. This is all about your empowerment this week. So collective, definitely make sure to not be afraid of it. I know that sounds so basic, but it is, life can be, it can be as simple as that. It is this value of weighing the pros and the cons. And what I mean by that is the things that positively affect us and the things that negatively affect us. Where we put our time, our energy. Yeah, karmic path, this with Saturn. Confirmation on pretty much everything that I was saying. It's a part of our karma. It's a part of our lessons of growth, of evolution, to rise above. Yeah, double confirmation on that death energy. Changing, rebirth. That's also breaking down to a 9 in numerology. So lots of 9s on the board. And 9 again is that value of being at the end of the cycle. One last push. Keep pushing forward, creating those boundaries, being really strong and vigilant about those. Don't let people worm their way in, is what I'm hearing, because I feel like that's going to be some fire starters to some of the tension that we're experiencing this week. Yeah, you're pushing towards new life. So really protect that. Protect that vigilantly. Don't be afraid. Again, easier said than done, but just really try to remove the shame, remove the embarrassment, continue to find tools that can empower yourself. Whether it's, I feel like wellness is the best way, right? Taking care of our mind, body, soul, things that we naturally gravitate towards. Exercise, good food, proper rest, etc. Those all help us immensely and don't get enough credit. But even if it is doing some affirmations, some mantras, breathing work, crystal therapy, whatever you vibe with, and it doesn't have to be woohoo. It can be taking a walk in the woods, So whatever vibes with you, put those as your front and center focus, and to the best of your ability, try not to get sucked into the drama, especially the drama of the past that's trying to loop you back into karma or past cycles. It's not worth it because we're almost there. We're almost there, which I love. All right, collective, thank you so much. I appreciate you always, especially if you've made it this far in the video. Yeah, definitely drop comments below. I love to hear how it resonates. I also love to support. And yeah, I hope you have a fabulous week. I will talk to you soon. Thank you.